understand the behavior because I didn't see enough of it. But we've got Ted Bear. We have Ted Bear. He is out this morning, and we are so excited. Ted Bear is a 19-and-a-half-year-old bear, and here behind him is Holly Bear. Holly Bear is in the corner here. And Holly rarely gets out with Ted, so this ought to be really great bear behavior. Holly seems to be a little more cautious with Ted out here. And I want to welcome everybody. I got to stop talking about all my excitement here. I have to really welcome everybody here at the North American Bear Center, as well as all of you on a Sunday morning. And our curator has changed things up a little bit this morning with Ted Bear out. And Ted Bear has been out for a good half hour, 45 minutes. And he's come out of his pen and he's cruised to the viewing area. And he's had a few treats. And now he's got company. And Holly Bear is to the right. And we do have Tasha Bear out as well. But Tasha Bear, I saw her a matter of a few minutes ago, and she disappeared because Holly was chasing her. It looked like all play, but between the trees and the bushes, I'm not sure where Tasha went. Well, good morning, everybody, and it is a fun morning to have these three bears out. Lucky Bear is still sleeping. Lucky Bear is our 9-year-old teenage bear, and he likes to sleep late, stay out late. Well, I always call him our teenager. So he's not in the mix right now. He has taken his time getting up, and it's usually about noon before Lucky gets up, and that's okay. So we have Ted Bear out here. And I'll talk about Ted Bear first because he is the first bear that was out here. Ted is also our largest bear and oldest at 19-and-a-half. Ted is a sweetheart, and it looks like, some people said it looks like Ted's having a bad hair day. Well, not really. Ted's just shedding. Those tufts of hair on his side and a little bit down his back is last year's winter coat. I know everybody sees him and they say, why don't you give him a little brush and combing? We don't do that to our bears. We let nature take its course. And as Ted Bear was cruising around and he passes the bushes and the trees, that acts as nature's. I see Tasha. She is by the deadfall going left. For our BTZ driver, Tasha is to the left of the deadfall, moving left. She is continuing to move further left and now more behind the center falls. And more for the PTZ driver, just so you know, Tasha is behind the center falls, probably 40 feet in the woods. Now, I know I'm breaking up my stories here, but I just happened to see this little black thing moving in the tree line, about 40 feet beyond the tree line. And I had to tell the folks down below that that's where she is. It's an advantage up here to be broadcasting from the North American Bear Center's observation deck. But the people down below, especially Sharon, who has been calling Tasha, did not see her and can't see her from her location. And I'll give you further updates if I see Tasha, but right now she's not in sight. I'm going to go back to Ted Bear. We do not brush and comb our bears. We let nature take its course. And it won't be long. He's going to be done with that shedding of last year's winter coat, and he will be moving on to creating a winter coat for this year. Ted is our 19-year-old male, and he is our only bear that was born and bred in captivity, and he had a wonderful home for his first 9 or 10 years with the family in Wisconsin. They ran into a few insurance issues in 2007, on their property as well as a family business. Well, through a mutual friend, they heard about the Bear Center, came to visit, and thought the Bear Center would be a great forever home for Ted Bear. So Ted Bear came to us in the spring of '07, and Ted has just been a wonderful bear to work with ever since. Ted is a people pleaser and is just a joy to be with. Now, Ted is working on what we call a donut. Well, it's a round plastic item that looks like a small tire, only tan in color with 3 holes in it. And what's the point of that? Well, the point of that is bears have to work for their food in the wild, and this is a way to replicate some of that and how do they problem solve in working for food. Now, black bears do have sticky tongues, long and sticky tongues actually. They're about 6 to 8 inches long and sticky. So if you watch Ted right now, he is using that tongue and picking up his peanuts out of the shell, and he also had some red grapes. He can pick that up without picking up anything else on the ground. Now we've got we've got Holly on the right. I'm still looking for Tasha, but I'll talk about Holly, who's on the right. She's standing up there, and she had what we call a tube. Well, actually, it's a PVC pipe with another couple holes in it as well. And getting food out of the tube is a little different than getting it out of the donut. She has to roll that tube, or she has to manipulate it in such a way that the treats come out of those holes. Their tongue can reach through those holes, and so Holly could reach through the holes, but she has a method of continually rolling it, and if she thinks there's more treats in it, then she lifts it up and moves it from end to end. Now, Holly Bear is one of our southern gals. She came from Arkansas. She's born of a wild mother, but was separated from her mother due to a wildfire. A gentleman picked her up and cared for her for a number of months in his home, which he shouldn't do. Now with Ted moving, Ted's going to move to the right, and we could have some bear interaction here. Holly is moving away from Ted and giving him space. We're going to see what she's going to do on this. Again, we don't have these two out that often together, so it's kind of interesting to see who's going to do what. Ted stopped there to see if there's any more treats in Holly's tube, but I suspect Ted is going to continue on to the right. Our curator is down there to observe all the behavior, and that is always important. That's beside all the work that is done behind the scenes, feeding and watering and cleaning and caring for our bears. Watching daily behavior is an indication of how they're feeling and how things are going for each bear on any given day. But back to Holly, the gentleman that kept her back in 2013, he kept her for a number of months in his home, and that's illegal. She was confiscated and deemed non-releasable by the authorities, and we heard about her situation in December of 2013, and some volunteers drove all the way down to Arkansas, picked her up in the dead of winter, and came up here with her in tow December 27th, and that is how Holly gets her name. She arrived here during the holiday season. Holly is fun to work with. She can be spunky at times, but she is a great bear to work with and demonstrates other traits of black bears as well. We do have 4 bears here at the Bear Center. As I indicated, Lucky Bear, he's sound asleep, or at least he was 20 minutes ago, as a representative of our, what I call, teenage bear. Sleeps late, stay out late, and is late for most events. And a little update on Tasha. I'm looking for Tasha, where I thought I saw her, and a few times she has made it down. She has come from the left, meaning the far waterfalls on the left, but I don't see her. And it gives you an indication of how difficult it can be to see a bear, even when you're on an observation deck, approximately 10 to 12 feet above the ground. They're not that easy to see in the wild, big or small, and people always tell me, well, if I'll know a bear in the wild because I'll probably hear him coming up at me, and that's really not true. A bear can come up without you even hearing them. They're extremely quiet in the wild, and they tend not to approach people to begin with, so that's somewhat of a fallacy for black bears. Black bears are shy and timid animals, and they tend to move on before we either see or hear them. So again, I'm kind of focusing on the left. If I see Tasha, if Tasha does come down, I suspect she will come down when there's no other bears in the front. Tasha is very shy, timid, and cautious. Those are all superb qualities of a black bear and could lead to a long life for a wild black bear. They pass on those shy, timid, and cautious genes to their offspring, and that's how they can manage to live into their teens and early 20s in the wild. One of the things that black bears are noted for is when they're not sure of the situation, they'll run first and ask questions later. People on the deck, I think, are pointing. I don't know. They're pointing to something, and I'm going to move on the deck here. Does somebody on the deck see a bear? Oh, yes. I do see, yes, I see her. I see Tasha. She's further in the woods, and directly behind the center falls, could be at least 60 feet, 50 to 60 feet in the woods, directly behind the center falls for a PTZ driver. As I said, she tends to come from the left if she's even going to come out front. She's come out here maybe a half a dozen times, but being a yearling at 20 months old, she is cautious, especially with big bears, and that is normal in the wild. I don't see her at the moment, but again, she's been cruising the area in the woods, slowly back and forth, and we do not have a bear up front right now, and if she were to know that, that would be good for her. We might see her. Well, it really has been an interesting 11 o'clock program with at least two bears out and the third one cruising the tree line. And if our little Tasha bear does come out, she is less than 200 pounds and she's only 20 months old. She came from Kentucky and was found nursing on her dead mother who had been hit by a truck the previous day. A gentleman picked her up. She was only 6 to 8 pounds at the time she was found, and it's unlikely she would have survived in the wild alone. And she's here today because of his efforts. Unfortunately, he did keep her in his home for a period of time, and again, that is illegal. She was confiscated as well and deemed non-releasable. We got Tasha here in early June of this year, and we are working diligently every day to try to socialize her, to come down to the pond area, or shall we say an open area here where you can view her. But she is shy, timid, and, she wants to take her time coming here. And one of the defenses black bears have from danger is trees. They're superb climbers at a very young age. And she's a little hesitant to leave the safety of the tree line for fear she has to run from another bear. All that is common and natural to her and to all wild bears. If she does come down, I would encourage you folks here at the Bear Center to try to be quiet. She doesn't really know what to make of some of the noise that we make here up on the deck, or her shadow, or I should say her reflection in the large windows on the main level. For those of you on the main level looking out those big viewing windows, they're great for viewing, but when the bears are in the pond area and looking back at you inside the building, they see a reflection of themselves.